this time. All right. Before we get started, I do see Cassie Hall. I see you have a hand up. You can unmute. What's the issue you'd like to address?
So I'm with Carol Lavender. She had a docket notice for a motion of withdrawal for her attorney, and it said Tuesday, April 25th, which is the 23rd today. So we were wondering if she had court today or Thursday.
All right, let's take a look.
And Your Honor, I'm actually the attorney withdrawing. That's Thursday. My apologies.
Okay.
I'll send out an amended docket. I'm sure there's just a Scrivener's error on there.
Very good.
Right.
So that's what mine looks like as well. I don't see that case on for today. So go ahead and get a hold of Ms. Winkles. She'll confirm, but it looks like that's on for Thursday.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Ms. Jocelyn. All right.
Yeah, I apologize, Your Honor. I'm the appointed attorney for Mr. Widlick, and I would just be requesting a set over. I know the Guardian has already set us for a hearing on May 14th, so I'd simply ask to set over to that date. Despite my efforts to try to contact client, I haven't been able to, so I'm unable to take a position today. I'd like to be able to make a few more efforts to get in contact with him.
So this is in re guardianship of on for show cause. I have you, Ms. Jocelyn, and then I have Mr. Sasaki. There you are.
That's correct, Your Honor. Thank you.
Very good. And then let's see. And have Ms. Turnbull presenting as our guardian ad litem. And I believe I saw her online as well. Very good.
Here, Your Honor.
So Ms. Jocelyn's request was to set over, I believe, was it May 20th?
I would just say the 14th because we're already here on the Guardian's request for another hearing.
May 14th. Mr. Sasaki. So as to the request to set over.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm just double checking the date. A set over would work great for us because we've filed our objection to the petition for emergency guardianship. We still need to file the financial declaration and propose child support orders for that. I'm just double checking that the 14th. Yeah, the 14th would work for us as well.
And then Ms. Turnbull, I imagine the 14th works for you. So it sounds like that you had another matter on that date as well.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Anyone else wishing to be heard on that matter regarding the set over? Right. And do I have, let's see. Do I have either of the, so those are the responses. Do I have the proposed guardians online?
I don't know if you can see me or not.
Yes, I can.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the request is to set this matter over to May 14th.
Yes, ma'am. I did set a court date for and file some papers.
Okay. Are you okay that today's hearing is set over to May 14th?
Yes, ma'am. That's fine. I just yes, ma'am. We're going on. That's fine.
All right. And then I just saw Lucas Whittick. Thank you, sir, for correcting me. All right. And then have you had an opportunity to speak with your counsel yet, sir?
Not yet.
Okay.
I actually had to make an emergency move from Eastern Oregon back up to the Portland area.
Okay.
So, yeah.
She's online right at this very moment. And
okay.
So the request today is to set over the hearing, which looks like is in agreement. So I'm going to do that. But before I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the two of you in a breakout room and give you both an opportunity to speak with each other before you leave.
All right.
All right. Give me just one moment to do that.
Thank you, Your Honor, for doing that.
Thank you,
Yes. Very good.
Hello.
Your Honor, on number one, I'll be requesting that matter be set over.
All right, let's do that one next. I have Mr. Anagnostu appearing. I see you there, ma'am, appearing. I see Ms. Farr. And then do I have any other parties? All right. So Mr. Anagnostu, what's your request?
My request is that we set this over a couple of weeks. This was calendared for, I believe, April 11th, and then it got moved, and in the process, it didn't get properly calendared on my personal calendar. And so I've been trying to contact my client when I realized it was on docket, and just haven't had a chance to get a hold of her. She's normally responsive to me. This is a request for relocation. The Guardians want to relocate farther away. They're already in Olympia, and now they want to go farther. And I think the court should hear from my client, the mother of the children. I just haven't had an opportunity, given the changing in the calendars, to get her response.
Okay. And then I have Ms. Chappelle. Do you wish to be heard on that?
I set this matter over from the 11th to the 23rd on the request of the guardian ad litem. And I feel like that was more than enough time to communicate with Miss Ray. We are having some significant problems with the phone calls and some other concerns with her that I feel need to be heard sooner rather than later, because they are very detrimental to the children at this point.
Ms. Farr?
Good morning, Your Honor. So I think there might be a little confusion about what this was cited on for. There was a relocation notice filed, but I don't think that's what was cited for today. I think the intention was to cite it on for the proposed guardian to be appointed, but I also think that we have to have an evidentiary hearing for that. And then there are issues, as Ms. Chappelle said, about the visits, the context of the visits.
So the parties believe that the evidentiary hearing is going to take more than 45 minutes.
Definitely.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay. Because at that point, what makes the most sense is to set you to the trial setting docket to get a full hearing date, because this is truly a docket that isn't designed for full evidentiary hearings, taking testimony and those types of things that you would do at that type of a hearing. So let's do that. Let's get you assigned to the trial setting docket so that you can have a longer hearing to be able to have that evidentiary hearing. All right. And
Your Honor, in the meantime, though, the guardian has these issues with the context of the phone calls that need to be addressed that probably can't wait for the evidentiary hearing.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. On the issue of, so for the evidentiary hearing, I'm going to set you to, and my clerk can correct me if I'm putting you to a hearing that doesn't exist. I think there's no trial settings on May 1st. So I think the first available is May 8th, and that'll be at 9 a.m. I have succeeded. So I'm going to set the case to May 8th at 9 a.m. to get a date for the evidentiary hearing, since it's going to be longer than about 45 minutes, which is about the max that we can handle on this docket. So everybody will need to show up at that date and time. That's not when the hearing will happen. That's when you will get a date for the hearing to happen. Number two, as far as the other issues that need to be handled, sort of pending the full evidentiary hearing, what makes the most sense to me, I am going to give Mr. Anagnostou a little bit more time, but not a lot, since that's been set over a couple of times. Let's see. I'm going to set you to this Thursday, the 25th. What time is that? Okay. So Thursday, the 25th at 10:30 to address the intermediate issues. Mr. Anagnostou, sounds like it's kind of been pending for quite some time. Understand that your filings may be late. Just make sure that you bench copy anything that needs to be heard.
I'm a little bit confused as to what's going to be before the court. We had been served with a motion notice for relocation, but my understanding is that's not what's on. What's on is apparently some issues with regards to the residential arrangements.
I can weigh in a little bit if you'd
Go ahead,
like.
Ms. Barr.
So when you file the notice for relocation, if the parties don't object, then she just gets to relocate. So she's not citing that on at this time. There's no reason unless there's an objection. My understanding is there's issues with the phone call, which she wanted to discuss, but she also was attempting to cite this on to get a permanent guardianship order entered. And I have not finished my report yet. And that was my intention, was to get my report in. So I'll get that done before the trial setting.
Dad is also here, Jason Chappell, in regards to his visits that have also been pending for quite some time. And he was hoping to find out how to progress forward on that. And that is part of the contention with the children and phone calls, is that there's just so much confusion on that.
Okay. So I can't give you legal advice because the court has to be a neutral decision maker. So that means that I can't represent any parties, and I can't sort of direct parties to file things or not file things. But I can encourage parties. You can reach out to Ms. Farr, who can sort of sometimes provide some guideposts. You can also reach out to legal aid, and then you can also check out both the local courts website as well as courts.wa.gov. That's the Washington State website that has a lot of information as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set those issues over. That gives everybody a chance to review what's in the record as far as the hearing notice, because I do see that there is a hearing notice set for today. It was filed back on April 3rd, so it has been pending for about 3 weeks, and gives everybody some opportunities. And there's another one that was filed back in March. So it gives everybody some opportunities to review those, file anything that they would like to file in response.
Your Honor, I'm wondering if the guardian would object to this being set to hear the phone issues on the 2nd instead of this week.
So there's no docket on the 2nd. So I would rather set it to the 2nd, but there isn't.
I thought there was, because I had another.
Oh, there is one on the 2nd. Oh, there is one on the 2nd. Okay, just not the 30th. Aha.
Yeah, because I don't think I can get in touch with the guardian and the mother both before Thursday.
I'm fine with the 2nd. That gives everybody about a week.
With the 2nd.
All right. I think that makes a little bit more sense. And as far that potentially get a little closer on getting your report completed. I know you're working diligently on that. So, all right, let's set it to the 2nd instead. I think that gives everybody a little bit more time. Mr. and Ignacio included. So we'll set it to the 2nd. That'll be at 10:30 to review those intermediate issues based on the notices that were filed. And then you're set to the 8th at 9 a.m. to get a hearing date.
Thank you.
All right. Anything further on this matter?
The only issue I had, and I didn't get an opportunity to tell Your Honor, I'm in a week of trial, the week of May 6th. So the 8th hearing, any idea the length of time of that, or?
The 8th is just trial setting. That's the trial setting docket.
All right.
So just ask to go first.
I'm sorry. I thought we were doing those at 1 o'clock on Wednesdays.
We were. The new schedule changes starting that very week. So that's the first week of the new schedule.
Okay.
And so trial settings move from that 1 o'clock spot to 9 a.m. bright and early.
Great.
Very good. So you should be able to do that and then move along to trial if you're in trial that day. All right. Anything further on this matter?
Nothing.
All right. Very good. I appreciate the parties being here. Again, those 2 dates, May 2nd at 10:30 and May 8th at 9 a.m. All right. That's it for this case. You can go ahead and log on. Let's see. I've got Ms. Barr present.
And the stepmother Miss German, Amanda German.
All right, and I've got Amanda German present. Do I have anyone else present on this matter?
So the intention of the hearing today was to enter final orders, and I have not coordinated with Miss German to get that completed. I did just get the father's consent 2 days ago, so I would like additional time to coordinate to get the final orders entered. I'm asking that we can set this one over to the next Tuesday docket, which would be the 7th.
All right. Any questions, Ms. German?
Let me look. Sorry, Angelique has a busy schedule. I want to make sure. I feel like she has a doctor's appointment that day down in Port. Yeah, she has an appointment down in Hillsborough that morning at 9 a.m. So I could possibly be available via phone, but probably not via Zoom.
How about the 9th?
If the orders are agreed to, which they are, and I have her electronic signature that I can get to the court, wouldn't be necessary for her to actually appear.
If the orders
Okay.
if the orders are agreed, she would not need to appear. So
And just
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Just for clarification, that would be, I know right now I'm like temporary emergent. And since father and mother have both consented, would that be permanent full since I've already filed the full guardianship as well?
That's what the final orders are for, the full.
Yay. Okay. Perfect. I will try to be available on Zoom if possible on the 30th. If not, then I will just come to the courthouse and get the orders.
So it
And
would
I'll
be
be
on
in
the
touch with you in
7th.
the next couple days.
Okay.
All right. And you're looking for the 7th, correct, Ms. Farr?
Yes.
Yes. So this would be May 7th at 10:30.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Very good. We'll set the matter over. Also has immediate orders. Oh, okay. And I'll also need an order that extends the current emergency order on for a motion for withdrawal.
That's correct, Your Honor. Everybody's here. Nobody has objected thus far. Everybody knows why I'm asking to be discharged from this case. My client will need another attorney. I do believe there are some other attorneys that are now practicing in this area. So that's quite good. So I would ask to be released as court-appointed counsel today.
All right. Very good. And any objections from any party?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor. I represent the father. No objection.
No
objection.
Okay.
Tina Day, guardian ad litem, no objection.
All right. So did you send a proposed order?
We did, but it was 3 weeks ago. So I think we're going to shoot you over another one because I'm sure it's somewhere in the courthouse.
You never know. Let me see. It appears that it has gone awry. So if you would send over another order, if you just send it via email, if you do that within the next probably 20-ish minutes, I'll print it and enter it.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, we do need to appoint another attorney for mother.
Yes, and I don't know who that will be today. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to put it on for, I don't have a docket, so I'm going to give us till May 7th. So I'm going to put it back on for May 7th to have court administration look at appointing new counsel. And then we'll review it May 7th to review that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, again, I have a week of trial, the week of May 6th. I don't need to be present for appointment of a.
You do not.
Yeah, for the mother. Okay.
The court would waive your presence. It's a placeholder. I want to make sure it gets done. And so sometimes if there's not a review to ensure it, sometimes those things tend to slip by the wayside. So I want to have a review to make sure that we get new counsel in place.
Sure.
And if we get it in place, it can be stricken. Go ahead. So let's see. I have Ms. Powers. I have Ms. Farr. I have, let's see, I have Mr. Esau.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Let's see. And then I have, looks like Ms. Martin, as well as Ms. Kilwitz. All right, very good. I'm gonna get that pulled up. All right, so we had a prior order extending on the 26th. Go ahead, Ms. Powers.
Thank you, Your Honor. I represent the child in this case, and when we were here last, we were still waiting on service for the father and service of the full petition on the mother. My understanding is that the petitioner has some update on that. In terms of the interest of my client, I've been working with Mr. Esau on the return of some of her personal property, and I believe we've reached an agreement and have that worked out.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I'll hear from petitioner's attorney.
Hi. Yeah. We are still trying to locate Dad. It's been very difficult. He doesn't have a permanent residence listed that we can find. We've tried numerous ones that we have found, but they have all been dead ends so far.
Right. Very good. What's the plan going forward as far as service?
I'm hoping if we can possibly get a court order to try one of his previous addresses and do a mail service and see if that can get forwarded to whatever address he has on file with the post office, and seeing if that is a possibility. If not, we'll have to do with the newspaper ad, but that's kind of our last resort there.
Okay. Let's see. Mr. Esau, any input?
No objection to a continuance at this time. We're still getting our objection put together and getting that filed. I believe I accepted service on the full guardianship petition, I think. But I checked my file and I don't see anything. So I'm not sure where we're at on that.
I did bring that service in after the last hearing to the courthouse.
There is a proof of service, but it was just you serving Ms. Powers. Let's see.
If I have to resubmit it and refill it out, I can do that as well.
Oh, no. Here's one of you serving Ms. Martin. Okay, so there is one of her serving the notice and the petition. So there is one filed February 20th, 2024. It is clerk's papers, looks like 15. Everyone can take a look at that and see if that looks like it's sufficient for service on the mother in this case. All right, and then Ms. Farr.
I was just going to pull that up and look at it because I think that was on the emergency only.
Oh, that is on the emergency. It's not on the final. Yes, right. Not on the full.
So I don't think mother has been served with the full petition yet, and then the father has to be served with both.
Yes.
I don't know that mailing to an old address and hoping that it gets forwarded would be proper service. So if we can't locate the father, then I think publication is what will have to be done.
So here's where we are. Mailing, I tend to agree with Ms. Farr, although a motion for service, sort of alternative service, isn't before me today. Sort of mailing to an old address and hoping for the best generally wouldn't be approved because it's not an indication that person would actually receive it if you know that they're already not living there. But sometimes people can be found through various means, or sometimes there can be other available alternative service. So I'm going to give the parties an opportunity to chat that out and see if they can find some viable alternative. And then you can put that before the court. In looking at a set over, Ms. Powers, do you have any suggestions on how far you'd like to set over?
I would suggest maybe 3 weeks. Hopefully that's enough time to gather the rest of the information about Dad and know at that point whether we're going to have to move forward with publication or with mailing.
That would take us to about May 14th. Mr. Esau?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Farr?
Seems appropriate.
Ms. Kilwitz?
That's fine.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll set the matter over to May 14th. And that'll be at the same time at 10:30. Everyone will need to appear at that time. And then I'll also need an order extending the current emergency guardianship.
As the child's counsel, would the court like me to shoot over an order extending?
That would be appreciated.
Okay, I'll do that. And is it okay to just send it by email?
That would be fine.
Thanks.
All right. All right. Anything further on this matter?
No, thank you.
Very good. Hearing none, we'll see everyone back here on May 14th at 10:30.
Right.
I thought Trinity, but then I double guessed myself, so that's on me. All right, and we have, looks like we have Ms. Farr. Very good. All right,
Yes.
we have Ms. Farr, and then you are Trinity.
She is.
I am, yes.
All right, very good. And then we have you there, Lavana.
Yep, I'm Mom.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Ms. Farr.
So, Your Honor, as you can see, Mother just recently had a baby. And so we need to continue this matter so that we can move forward. Mother has been served, but I have not conducted the interviews with the parties yet. And so I have scheduled those interviews for next week.
Yeah, from
Reasonably so, it looks like in this case. Ms. Farr, how long are you proposing?
I would say at least 3 weeks and possibly 4 to give me time to get my report written after the interviews. I'm going to say 4. One of the issues, and I know it's not before you, but I'm hoping that you'll address it anyway, is that so Father is consenting, but Father is currently paying support to Mother. Mother is not forwarding that support on to the child. So because there is a temporary guardianship order in place, the request by the father is if the child support can be stopped going to Mother, or that's it just us or Mother to forward that money on.
I haven't of it since she's been in guardianship of Lori. So if you guys need it, I can forward it.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. That would be the order of the court, is that any funds that you receive for child support that you forward, please do so in a way that's trackable. So don't do it in cash, do it either with a check or electronically in a way that's very trackable so that you can show how much you forwarded.
Okay, I can do that.
Good. It looks like.
So if we could set it for the 21st, that would be my preference, but I could do the 14th if the court wants it sooner.
I think the 21st makes sense, especially with someone with a new baby.
Thank you.
Probably quite busy. So we'll set it for, so what that means is it just means that Ms. Farr needs additional time for her investigation, which is pretty reasonable considering the circumstances. So basically everything's going to remain status quo. And we're going to set the next hearing out to May 21st at 10:30. The only change will be that the funds received in child support will be forwarded to Trinity's current placement. All right. Any questions from anyone?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I'll enter an order to extend the current temporary orders. So those will remain in place. And I'm just going to add that little note that child support's to be forwarded to the current placement.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Any questions from any party?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Very good. We'll see everyone back here on May 21st. Very good. And is there anyone else on this matter? All right, Ms. Farr.
So, Your Honor, we have some procedural issues in this case. This was an NPC that the grandmother had custody in that case. Now the grandmother is not able to continue, and so now we have the Foxes who are stepping up, and they are the adoptive parents of the sibling of Myra. And so she has been in their care where there's a temporary order in place. And procedurally, we had discussed that they needed to file the motion to convert to a guardianship on the NPC. When Ms. Fox went down to do that, the clerk wouldn't allow her to do that. She has filed the emergency guardianship, and then my understanding is then the clerk's office made her file a petition under a new case number. So now, and I don't know what that case number is. I don't see it on Odyssey yet. So now we have 3 cases that are going to have to probably
filed under the, excuse me, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Sherry.
Mhm.
I thought we filed under the 24-4.
Did
No?
you file the standard petition under the emergency case number?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's not what I understood your email to say.
Oh,
So
I'm
sorry.
I'm
Okay,
sorry for
so it
confusion.
looks like we still just have the 2 cases to
Yeah.
consolidate, which we discussed at the last hearing.
Yeah.
But do we still need to have that motion to convert? I believe that we do. But apparently the clerk's office disagrees and will not file it.
Unless I made some sort of mistake.
Well, do you know what that, so did they file your motion to convert?
No.
No. Was it you that tried to file it or grandma that tried to file it?
I was there, and I have a friend who's been kind of helping me file paperwork. She was also there.
Okay.
And so the petition does allow for a third party to file it. I read the petition myself this morning.
Okay. Did they accept the paperwork, or did they say we can't take it?
We can't take it because we did put everything under the old case number at first, because we were confused. So then we tried fixing everything, and this is what's been filed.
Okay. Do you know what the other case number is?
I do not have that on hand.
It's 19-3.
Thank you, Sherry.
So I believe that in order to terminate or change that order, that motion and order has to be entered in that case so that it can go forward into the guardianship case under the new number.
Okay. So now we've got, okay, so now I can see that you do have a final, or there is a final non-parental residential schedule filed back in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do this. Do you still have that motion?
No, I don't have it on me, but I can get it.
Okay.
I left it with the friend that's closer. We live 2 hours from the court, so I left everything with her. Unfortunately, I still don't have them on hand in case we needed to do anything with it.
Okay. So perhaps there was just some confusion. So you can have Ms. Farr take a look at the paperwork,
okay.
Double check that everything's filled out how it should be, and
Okay.
that it's correctly for the cause number starting in 19.
Okay.
And then try to get that filed again.
Okay.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set both matters. So I'm going to pull that 19 cause number in, and I'm going to set them both over, and we're going to review both of them, so that for the moment I use a non-lawyer term and call it rubber band joinder, meaning I'm going to kind of in the old times when we had paper files and you just took a rubber band and put it around 2 things that needed to go together.
Okay.
That's kind of what I'm doing. So for the moment, I'm going to kind of put those 2 things together on the docket, so that we can make sure we review them together so that we can kind of get that problem solved.
Okay.
And then let's set that over to I'll give you a little time to get that done. Why don't we set that over to May 7th? That gives everybody a little time to get some of those things done and make sure everything's as squared away as it needs to be. So that'd be May 7th at 10 a.m. I'm gonna set both matters to that date. And then that allows for some sort of paperwork to go back and forth and ideally get filed and then into Odyssey so that the judge can see it.
So just to clarify, sorry to interrupt you, Your Honor. We only need to try to get that motion to convert filed properly in that time frame for May 7th date.
The parents still need to be served too, so
In
that's
that time frame.
They need to be served no matter what. So you need to make diligent efforts to get the parents served. If you can't get them personally served, talk to Ms. Farr about sort of what the alternatives are, or you can talk to a lawyer or legal aid or Northwest Justice Project about sort of what some of the alternatives are for service other than personal service.
Okay.
Good. Anything else on this matter, Ms. Farr?
I think that gives us some direction on where we need to get things tidied up, and then we can go forward.
All right. And then this case will have an order to extend as well. And I will enter that, extending this matter. All right. Anything further on this case?
That's it. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, that's it. We'll see you back here May 7th, hopefully with service in hand and a motion to motions filed.
Okay, thank you.
All right, very good. Thank you.